What's up, guys, and welcome to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3 Grand Finals. This is a best of 5 between Virtus.Pro Polar and the Hellraisers. We got 21k USD for first place. Of course, both these two teams are already in the money, but that's not what they want. They want the big money, they want the glory, and we'll see who's able to put it out ahead. In the best of 5, Hellraisers up one game already because they came from the upper bracket, so VP.P have a little bit more to climb, but I'm sure they're capable of doing it. Here on HeflaTV HB1, we're going to be bringing you the last set of the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. I'm Mike Loris. I've got Grandis here as well. Do you have any expectations for this set?
It should be quite impressive. Both of these teams have been on a tear as of late. Virtus.Pro Polar have really been on quite a winning streak, even beating EG 3-2, which is quite impressive. I believe that was in the Dota pit. Hellraisers have also been looking really strong as of late, and I'm pretty excited to look at how they play on this patch. First pick, Night Stalker. What are you? Oh my goodness, I love this already.
We did it, guys. This is Dota now. This is the patch we're in. Okay, so I have no clue how the first pick Night Stalker is supposed to work. It's a hero that you can build around, though. It's a hero that once you hit a certain point in your game, you just gank, and then non-stop gank. So you pick up support heroes that are aggressive, and you pick up heroes that could really abuse the fact that you're probably going to get a lot of space from this hero. I have no idea if it's first pick worthy, new patch and everything, but it's here, and that's what counts.
I think one of the biggest things about Night Stalker right now is that he is scary as hell to play against. I played with and against a Night Stalker in this new patch, and that 625 vision is actually stupid. With Darkness, it makes him a lot more stable too, the way you can use your ult in the daytime very reliably and just keep that thing on cooldown. You pretty much have 80% uptime, which fixes Night Stalker's biggest problem, especially come late game, which is very time-based effectiveness throughout the game. Hellraisers are going to be taking their time with these second two picks, but I'm glad we're seeing something new at the very least. The new patch is shaking things up. It's also pretty interesting to see Doom first banned.
Yeah, I would expect that Virtus.Pro Polar would have gone for something a little bit more traditional for VP.P with the Doom banned out, something along the lines of Puck, maybe even a Venge, just because those are the VP.P heroes. Those are the heroes that they like to run. They run them very well, and they're also pretty bad against Doom, so Night Stalker pretty much is Doom proof, like 100%, so as far as the Doom ban out, the Night Stalker isn't really going to be reaping huge rewards off of that, but Hellraisers, they're going to stay the course, it looks like. Vengeful Spirit is going to be the first pick for them. It's fine, I mean, it's slightly hit with the nerf bat, but I think what she could do as far as her safety to the team and her damage output, more or less untouched, and I think she's definitely worth this first pick still, but as far as defending against the Night Stalker, you want to have as much crowd control as possible. Magic Missile and Swap are good. They're going to need a little bit more, though.
For sure. And yeah, I think what you said does stand true. Vengeful Spirit, even though she was nerfed slightly, is still really solid. We might see the build change a little bit for Vengeful Spirit over the next couple of weeks, but Vengeful Spirit, more or less, is untouched. The extra cooldown on Howl was a necessary nerf, I think, but I think Venge is, even though she was picked pretty much every game in the previous couple of weeks, is a pretty balanced hero all around. Nice lockdown, but if you do get behind, can be pretty problematic for Hellraisers. Definitely taking their time inside this draft, potentially thrown by the loop by the Night Stalker first pick. It's going to be a second pick Brewmaster for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure any team would be a little bit confused at this Night Stalker. And, okay, so Brewmaster is pretty good against Night Stalker, assuming they're in the same lane together, which may not be the case. Night Stalker is pretty good at shutting down Brewmaster's split, just because Crippling Fear is a ridiculous silence, and not many ways you could actually get through that. I don't think Lincoln Sphere is really in the Brewmaster's plans, BKB maybe down the line, but Night Stalker is definitely capable of feeding off of Brewmaster, but that's not really the game plan for Virtus.Pro Polar with the Jakiro pickup. They are going to be playing this game very aggressively. Of course, when you pick up a Night Stalker, that's pretty much a given, but Night Stalker Jakiro, they'll be able to get kills, they'll be able to dive towers very well because of the slow on liquid fire, and that means that they will never ever stop going for kills.
Yeah, and I quite like this opening for Virtus.Pro Polar. It does have a little bit of a puppy feel to it, but I think it does play into their strengths. Virtus.Pro Polar and Hellraisers both like to play incredibly aggressively come the mid-game. We should have a lot of brawls going on throughout this game. Definitely not going to be a farm fest. I say that now, and then we'll just have like a 50-minute Naga Siren game.
Hey, late game Night Stalker, a little bit more consistent. I'm sure he could I'm sure Virtus.Pro Polar can make it work. I don't know who's going to be playing the Night Stalker. I don't know who's the designated Night Stalker player, but if it's Illidan, who knows? Anything could happen, the late game Night Stalker build, but We have a couple more bans out here. Phantom Assassin and Enigma going to get the boot out, where Shadow Demon is actually the ban from the Hellraisers. So definitely not heroes that we see all too often, Enigma and Shadow Demon especially, but I could see where they would fit into each respective lineup, though. For Virtus Pro Polar, I don't really know why they're so scared of the Phantom Assassin. I feel like you could always work around that. And Enigma, if you're going to be aggressive, is just food to the Night Stalker. So, yeah, I'm not really sold on the VP.P bans yet.
As far as that Venomancer ban, I do like it from Hellraisers. The Shadow Demon and Venomancer both, I think, are definitely heroes to be respected. That would have fit pretty nicely in Virtus Pro. Just delaying that time and setting up for Ice Pass with the disruption to get Night Sticker right on top of you, that can be incredibly scary. And just having Gale, which is a wonderful spell, and a little bit of extra pushing power definitely doesn't go amiss when you're going for these aggressive style lineups. For Hellraisers, right now, they've gone for pretty standard fare, at least from the previous patch, and for now, I honestly don't know what they're going to pick, but it's going to be very fast. They only have 2 seconds of reserve time left. It's going to be a Visage.
Alright, so I think Hellraisers are one of the teams, there aren't that many that will just run a Visage just straight up just because it's Visage and it's a powerful hero. As far as peeling off Night Stalker, Grave Chill is going to be your best friend. It's going to be the best friend of the entire team, actually. So between that, the Clap, the Haze, the Magic Missile, they have answers and then some for this Night Stalker pickup. They also are going to need heroes that can fight very early. Visage does fight that bill, so as far as supports for Hellraiser are concerned, they're more or less set. I don't think you get much better than this if you're going to be expecting to fight early, especially with the Scarith Mage banned out, but not sure if Scarith Mage is still that type of hero. I'm not sure how much armor he has anymore, but it's very low. Virtus Pro Polar, though, they're going to go for the Witch Doctor again, just helping out with those dives.
Yeah, as for Hellraisers, Drow Ranger is on the table, and they're going to go ahead and pick that up for themselves. This is pretty darn risky, I'd say, with Virtus Pro Polar just wanting to play super aggressive. I don't know, it looks like both teams just want to go blow for blow. Whoever gets that early advantage is going to be really looking good come the mid-game.
And this is actually really weird because Night Stalker, in the previous patches, I would have said is like a direct response to Drow Ranger. Like if you shuffled the order of these hero picks, it would make so much sense going up against the Drow Ranger with a Night Stalker in tow. But Drow Ranger, if she gets enough cover, if she has enough damage on her team, maybe they just kill off Night Stalker before she really gets into a lot of trouble. But Night Stalker is just one of those heroes that gets in your face really quickly. Maybe Gust is going to save the Drow Ranger for a little while. Maybe she could teleport out every single time, but this Drow Ranger pick is not going to be perfectly safe, as VP.P also pick up their puck, so either for Mag or for DK Phobos. Either way, it's more ways of getting on top of the Brewmaster and silencing his ultimate, or just getting on top of the Drow Ranger and outright killing her.
Okay, so another question that's still yet to be answered about Virtus Pro Polar's draft is how are they going to lane this? It kind of feels like offlane Puck, Midnight Stalker, and like safe lane Jakiro may be looking for another support. But they have a lot of flexibility, and we still don't know for sure. Only time will tell. Actually, Hellraisers missed their last ban. Very interesting.
Or they intentionally skip the last ban because they're just that next level. Maybe not.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's really hard to pick a ban in that last stage up against Virtus Pro Polar's lineup. You don't really know what they're thinking of picking.
Yeah, that's true, and I guess it's better just you know what you're picking, so you just ban someone who's not that hero. So it's probably good to use your bans. Pro tips from HeflaTV. But yeah, for Virtus Pro Polar, I'm not exactly sure. Usually Night Stalker wants to get solo-ish lanes of experience. Maybe he's going to be lane safe, and Virtus Pro Polar are going to play a very hands-off, just pulling kind of support draft, but maybe it will just be dual lanes for them if they want to do that. I don't know. There's no super strong way for them to lane this, whereas for Hellraisers, it's a lot more direct. It's going to be a Necrophos. The clock says 0, so I'm assuming this was an intentional pick, but this is another great hero at dealing with the Night Stalker.
It is. I don't see anybody complaining in all chat, and honestly, if you let your reserve time go down that low, you don't really have the right to complain. So they're stuck with the Necrophos, and I think it works pretty decently well with their team. The amount of damage they can pump out is quite honestly ridiculous. So Night Stalker dropping to half health is not a really tall order, and then they'll just be able to burst him down from there with the Reaper's Scythe. And Night Stalker really is key for Virtus Pro Polar's lineup. If that Night Stalker doesn't get off to a good start, they kind of have mediocre heroes.
Yeah, they all kind of do their job, but they really want to be a piece in the, giant cog that's turning. And Night Stalker is, I guess, the middle cog. Is that the most important cog? He's the one where everyone else is going to really be revolving around. And if he gets shut down early on, and given Hellraiser's draft, that seems like a very real possibility, then an underleveled, underfarmed Night Stalker is not really something to be scared of. And Virtus.Pro Polar don't really have that much to fall back on. Maybe just the pushing power of Jakiro will get them kind of somewhere. Puck's power might get them kind of somewhere, but nowhere decisive. Nowhere that is going to be able to contest the likes of Drow Ranger Necrophos as a dual core. Not to mention, you know, everyone else on Hellraisers, who are able to put out a ton of damage as well.
As far as VP.P's last hero, let's see, what would actually fit well with what they have? Right now, they do have some pretty nice ideas with all of their picks. You have the Night Stalker to look for kills, Jakiro Witch Doctor for the sustain in the push, as well as just consistent push, and then Puck for initiations later on. What are they actually missing? It doesn't really feel like there's anything that screams that it needs to be in VP.P's lineup.
Maybe I'm feeling either Ancient Apparition or Zeus. And, well, first of all, Ancient Apparition more as a direct response to Necrophos, but Zeus just because Hellraisers in general fairly soft, and you could really abuse the aggressive power of the early game Zeus. So I'm feeling those two. Yes.
There you
Half
go.
right, I suppose.
I mean, Ancient Apparition is a really good hero up against Hellraiser's lineup. Ice Blast is going to be super potent at bringing them down, especially shutting down Necrophos' heals. It's so annoying to play Necrophos without your Q. You're actually a pretty darn squishy hero.
Oh god, I messed up my thing. That is... Okay, never mind, we're good. Nobody panic. No picnic, please. Okay, we're good. And we are going to start things off with a pause. So, for the Ancient Apparition, it's more so a direct response to the Necrophos than anything else, but also get that Chilling Touch on your side and you'll be able to tear through the Hellraiser's side very, very easily. Because VP.P, they have mostly ranged heroes, Night Stalker really being the only exception, and even he can stick onto his targets very well. So it is probably, yeah, given who's playing what, DK Phobos on the Jakiro is going to be a core Jakiro along with the Night Stalker and the Puck. I don't think anyone's really too surprised about that, but Virtus.Pro Polar, this is an aggressive draft from them. They have to play this very aggressively. If they sit back and let the Drow Ranger get big, if they let the Necrophos get whatever survivability items Necrophos wants to get in this game, they're going to be screwed late game VP.P.
For sure. Well, I'll go ahead and introduce the Radiant side. It is Hellraisers on that side of the map with a one-game advantage. Gorath's going to be playing on the Necrophos, Aphonia on the Brewmaster, Artis on the Drow Ranger, leaving our supporting duo, Dread on the Vengeful Spirit, and Goddamn on the Visage.
And this is some sweet Drow Ranger stuff. But on the Virtus.Pro Polar side, Night Stalker is going to be played by Illidan Stormrage. FNG supporting as the Ancient Apparition, going to be joined by Lil as the Witch Doctor. Mag is going to be playing the Puck for the team, and top lane DK Phobos is going to be handling the Jakiro. It looks like he is deciding to let the rest of the team wander about as VP.P. They're more or less geared up for an aggressive tri-lane with Night Stalker. That is extremely bold.
It really is. If that doesn't work out completely in their favor, the Night Stalker is going to be very level-starved, and a level-starved Night Stalker really doesn't accomplish much, even when you hit that first and second nighttime. Looks like we're going to see a pretty major fight for the 0-minute rune spawn, potentially breaking out from either side. It's really tempting to say that Hellraisers will win it just with the raw numbers, but up against an Ancient Apparition, Void, as well as even the Witch Doctor Paralyzing Cask, it can't be a guaranteed win for them. Goddamn Nartis need to be very careful.
Well, with 4 heroes here, I don't think VP Polar really want to try their luck here. As you said, Void and Ancient Apparition Chilling Touch are 2 ridiculous level 1 skills, and it's worthwhile giving it a try if Goddamn is isolated like this. This is an opportunity for Virtus.Pro Polar right here, and there's the Chilling Touch and the Void and the Cast. Goddamn, not even going to get the Bounty Rune, and I'm pretty sure he's going to die right now. Chilling Touch, but the right clicks. One more. 6 HP, are you kidding me? Goddamn on the run. I think he might be fine. Unless Lil finds some... Okay, no, Void. That is... Yeah, that did it.
It's going to be Virtus.Pro Polar not only getting the first blood, but that double potency bounty rune for the Night Stalker. That's exactly what they need to start off this lane. Odin now incredibly close to level 2, and although at level 2 not the greatest of heroes, just getting off to an early start is so important for the Night Stalker. Dro's not going to be able to get very much at all from this lane, and we might even see some lane switch-ups. For now, Goritz is left solo up top versus the Jakiro, mid Brewmaster versus the Puck, and bottom lane's really the only one worth watching.
Yeah, the other 2 lanes probably should not be killing each other. Level 6 is where Mag might get a kill on the Brewmaster, but that seems very unlikely. Top lane, probably no one's going to die ever, though the chip damage and harassment is definitely going to be present there pretty much the entire time. Virtus.Pro Polar, the problem with the aggressive lane Night Stalker is that you generally need your supports to be very close, and that's not what Night Stalker really likes. He wants to get solo levels of solo lanes worth of experience. So it's up to VP Polar to play this kind of hands-off while at the same time applying pressure, and that is a very hard juggling act. They're doing their best to keep arties off the lane for now, and it's going to be decent for them, but that will not be the case for much longer. They won't be able to control the lane as well as they really would like to.
For sure. We'll just have to see how it pans out. For now, it is 3v3, and the 3 Virtus Pro Polar have at their disposal are incredibly scary if Hellraisers aren't very careful when it comes to positioning. Gord's dropping pretty darn low up towards top, just a Liquidifier harass coming up from Jakiro, but a couple of heals are going to keep him safe, and the same can be said for Fonia. It's really hard to keep your eyes off of this bottom lane. Even though the mid and top are trading hits, and HR might give up a kill here or there, it's a lot less likely than bottom.
Yeah, mid lane is actually a lot more damage being thrown towards the Brewmaster than I really would expect. Mag doing his best to hold control of this lane, and he's doing a pretty damn good job. Up towards top, Goretz getting continuously spammed out of lane by DK Phobos. I'm pretty sure Liquidifier was also recently nerfed, although not in the cooldown aspect, so it will still provide you that harassment-free, or response-free, harassment from the creeps. But Goretz is moving up towards, moving up towards the top lane with the haster, and this is not good time for DK Phobos. There's the clap and the beatdown starting. DK Phobos is going to try to turn around, fight to the death versus Goretz, but he's not going to win that fight. This will be the death of Jakiro, and it will be off of the back of a Brewmaster haster, and that's the rune that you really want pretty much every single time.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter which hero, and Brewmaster is one of the best ones to get that haste rune. Even after that kill, Hellraisers are still falling behind just in the raw CS numbers quite handily as well. Puck left alone inside that lane, now doubling up the Brewmaster.
And Hellraisers, this is not really where they want to be. They want to at least hold even, as they know that they're going to be peaking a little bit later than the Virtus Pro Polar side. Night Stalker getting all the CS means that he's going to have upgraded boots, or an urn, or a bottle, or whatever he wants to go for in this particular game. Maybe even Vanguard components. Wouldn't be a terrible game to go for that type of builds, but either way, the Night Stalker is right now being uncontested. He won't be the highest leveled hero in the game, but I would say overall, they're doing their job. Arteez is more or less off the lane.
Yeah, for sure. This game, I'd love to see an armlet on the Night Stalker, especially since it has reduced cost and is incredibly fast to come up. But for now, it's just going to be PTs from Illidan, no big surprises there. But yeah, it's looking good for Virtus Pro Polar. There's not an immediate time where they can look to go super aggressive, but the status quo is good enough for them right now.
Well, nighttime is going to fall in just a matter of seconds. I think at that point they're going to try their luck, and they're going to do it right before nighttime. I mean, that probably wasn't going to work even if it was night at that point, but they're going to now charge forward for Arties. As soon as night falls, they will go and try to get this Jar Ranger kill. Void to start things off, but a nice 3-man gust is going to keep her pretty safe, but not safe enough. They're going to dive this tower. They don't give a damn. They will get that kill, forcing a TP out from the Brewmaster as well. He's going to get turned around upon, though. He has no split. The beatdown with the Chilling Touch is way too much damage, plus the cold feet. He will be frozen in place. That's going to be 2 kills for Virtus Pro Polar down on this bottom lane. Dread, you do not want to be there, because there is also a Puck who's thinking about rotating in, but man, 4 minutes in, nighttime falls, and the level 4 Night Stalker, level 3 Night Stalker just goes to town.
Yeah, that was not entirely expected, but I mean, it is a Night Stalker. Immediately as it took night, they just went full throttle down that bottom lane, and honestly, the defensive spells went as good as possible for Hellraisers. They got a Gust onto 3, Magic Missile onto the Night Stalker. Didn't matter. They just run headlong into them. They spot out Illidan. They're going to drop a couple of Frost Arrows into him, but honestly, that doesn't slow him down far enough, since it is only a level 1 Frost Arrows.
So I'm not sure how much rotation Illidan is actually going to be doing in this first nighttime phase, but honestly, he doesn't really have to do that much. As long as he just charges at the bottom lane of Hellraisers, what other options do they have? They really don't have any other options. Run and try to outrun the Night Stalker, or hide, and those usually aren't that great options. So Illidan and the rest of his supporting squad, they're going to be running this bottom lane, and they might run into this Visage. And goddamn, without boots is like so freaking dead right now. FNG's gonna lay down a couple of vortexes. Where's the cask from Lil? Do they even need the cask? There it is. And now goddamn, almost made it to the lane, but he will be going down. Illidan going to claim his 3rd kill.
Yeah, and this is pretty much as prescribed, it's going to be an urn for the Night Stalker, and that's almost completed up on Illidan as well. As soon as he flies that out to himself, what actually is that his urn? Yeah, it is. Yeah, this Night Stalker is going to be going wherever he wants to go. Also, Orb of Venom picked up. Night Stalker is primed to look for kills constantly if anybody shows their face in this lane. Honestly, Artis is playing a dangerous dance if he walks any further than he is already.
And even right now, I would say he's in a pretty bad position. Luckily for him, the Virtus.Pro Polar supports are not there. Illidan going to take quite a bit of damage, though he does have his supports now kind of in the area. They are rotating in, and this time they will get a little bit of help, potentially from Mag. Does the puck really want to go down here? Yes, he does. He has a coil, and he wants to use it. Night Stalker, getting salved up in the meantime, has mana for 1 Void. It is rather cheap. And Night Stalker's intelligence growth, not the best, but it is enough. And now he's going to be scouting forward, just baiting them into clustering up. Mag has a coil and an invis rune. I think maybe he was spotted by the sentry ward. The true sight was in range, and yeah, they ping out. They know that the puck is here.
They're not going to go any further than they already are, and that's behind their tier 1 tower. Honestly, there's just not a safe place for any of these 3 heroes to go, and their other lanes aren't doing well enough to make up for the fact that bottom lane is more or less a complete train wreck. Artis, level 4, would really like to be getting his level 6 soon, but he's been forced to spend all of his experience with these 2 supports and been zoned out of the lane very handily by VP.P.
Top lane's losing for the Hellraisers.
Oh, they go into Artis. They
lane.
get the chilling touch. They'll magic missile up Illidan. It might be enough for a turn. However, Dread's now frozen down to the ground. Will get bashed down. A couple more frost arrows from Artis. He's under the tower. Will eat a negative urn tick. And now, goddamn, inside the woods. They'll still chase down this poor Visage. He doesn't have boots and can't do anything. And Artis still pursued. The courier's flying over, but not far enough. 1 Void will be enough to kill off Artis, and it will fly out from Illidan. 2 for nil, and now they look for goddamn FNG falling low under the tower. Might fall. The Voodoo Restoration, as well as the tower aggro toggle, is going to be enough to keep him alive. Win after win for VP.P.
Oh man, this Night Stalker is going to be classic pub nightmare Night Stalker right here. It's not quite even level 6 yet for the Night Stalker, but he's getting so many kills. Like, aggressive tri-lane at this point, 100% success. And he could go for pretty much whatever item he wants to go for. It is, of course, daytime right now, so the aggression might be slowed down a little bit from the Virtus.Pro Polar side, but Night Stalker, he's not going to mess around with Crippling Fear or Hunter in the Night. He's going to go for that level 6 Darkness. And this is recently changed, so you get a lot of uptime with just this level 6. And man, more uptime is really scary for Hellraisers. They are doing absolutely nothing on this bottom lane except for going here and dying. And that's not really a way you want to run your lane. So Virtus.Pro Polar, though it is daytime, if they see an opportunity, I don't think they're going to hesitate 1 second to pop the ultimate of the Night Stalker and then just dive a tower.
Yeah. And if you pop it during daytime, it is actually wasting the daytime timer. It doesn't delay it anymore, so that also makes timing things a little bit easier, just knowing that when it's going to be night and when it's not going to be. But yeah, it's still incredibly scary. You cannot mess with Illidan right now.
And I think it's a matter of time before we see DK Phobos actually rotating into a more useful role than what he's been playing up on top. Sure, shutting down the Necrophos is very much so a worthy cause, but he has maxed out Liquid Fire right now, and checking at the top lane tower, more or less untouched. So the Jakiro so far has just been farming up, getting his levels, and I think at this point is really when you want to group up as a 5-man squad as VP Polar, and then just go for objectives. If they're not going to go right now, then it's going to be once the puck gets his Blink Dagger, which is also not too far away. However, goddamn is going to be spotting out Lil. He has Dread right behind him, and this Witch Doctor, though he does have level 2 Voodoo Restoration and Power Tread Strength, is going to take a lot of damage. Maybe enough to kill him off. Yes, it will be, but here comes the puck. Has a coil opportunity onto 2. He's not going to throw it, and it will just be Lil going down. A very much so needed pickoff for the Hellraiser side.
For sure, they need to keep on finding those pickoffs, and consistently, too. The Draw Ranger is currently in full comeback mode right now. Artis is farming up the jungle as safely as possible for now, and that's pretty much just the 2 camps over by the mid lane at this point. We have yet to see a Brewmaster split from Aphonia, and we'll have to see if that actually works out for him. There's not a clear opening, but if he does split on top of Illidan with the clap and has some backup behind him, they can feasibly kill off this Night Stalker, but Blink Dagger is going to be crucial. Still quite a ways away from it.
It is also very possible for Virtus.Pro Polar to get a little bit too comfortable with their situation and think that their Night Stalker is just this unkillable killing machine and end up diving a tower or going a little bit too far out of position and then gets picked off. So never underestimate the ability of the enemy team to throw a game. However, it seems like Virtus.Pro Polar are in control for right now. They're going to throw an Ice Blast up towards top, and if this lands, and it looks like it will, this could be really bad for Hellraisers. Puck is nowhere near. Actually, there's only 2 heroes here, so never mind. There was actually no way that was going to be bad, but Mag is almost at his Blink Dagger, so next time that lands, it's going to be really bad.
For sure. It was a pretty nice ice path. Mag is being zoned out a little bit by Fonia in mid, and bottom lane's completely being conceded. It's not the fastest of tower pushing with just the Night Stalker and the Ancient Apparition down here. But since they're up against nobody, it is going to be taken one way or another. If Jakiro was down here, it'd be gone already.
Hellraisers, they're going to assemble 4 heroes up in the top lane. They have a Scythe and they have a level 9 Necrophos, though going for a Hand of Midas means that they really can't do that much. They're working with only +8 damage from this Drow Ranger, forced to go for a lot of Frost Arrows just to keep herself safe. And that's not really where you want to be as Hellraisers. At least it's not really going to prompt you to go for a group up on the top lane. So it looks like it's just a overall very slow lane swap, as Goretz is going to be going towards the jungle, and it's now a offensive tri-lane in quotation marks from the Hellraisers. But this top lane is a lot safer than the bottom lane because it's very far away from the Night Stalker. But I don't think that's going to be the case for much longer. Illidan can very easily go up there.
Right now, it looks like Hellraisers are just buckling down, waiting for the late game. Goretz sitting on a Midas, and it looks like Drow Ranger is going to be going for 1-2. Just trying to weather the storm that is the Night Stalker, but that's incredibly risky. It's going to be a Vanguard picked up by Illidan. At this point, I think saying that he's an unkillable tank is probably pretty close to the truth. Illidan can dive towers relentlessly, and right now, I quite like this Vanguard pickup. I'm usually not one to suggest it, but this game more than most, Illidan's going to make very good use of that 40 damage block, and might just find him a free Necrophos inside the woods.
He has maxed out Void, he has 1 negative earn charge, should be enough to kill off Goretz. However, there's a TP coming in, and for Goretz to leave if he really wants to. Illidan is going to back off. Brewmaster does have his blink, though blinking and clapping Night Stalker at this stage, unless you're body blocking him in somewhere, is not going to result into that much. So Illidan going to be running down towards south where he finds a much easier kill. Now that's something he could take. Dread is spotted out, however, they do know that Brewmaster is now hasted and incoming really quickly. Teleport out from FNG, going to keep him safe. There's now 4 heroes in the bottom lane for Hellraisers, and they also can't do anything. Goddamn, in the meantime, is going to get jumped over towards mid. Death Ward doing literally nothing, and that coil, though it was, I believe, snapped by Goddamn, still not really doing enough. Brewmaster's coming in hot. He will run the wrong direction. Puck has his own Blink Dagger plus Orb, so I don't think Mag is in too much trouble right now. Yeah, he will Blink dodge that clap and we'll be just fine. Kind of a botched kill attempt on the mid lane, but you know what? That's fine. They force a lot of heroes in. They might get Goddamn anyway. Is this lethal? I think it is.
Yeah, that's the end of Visage's life, especially with that reduced magic resistance, since he didn't have any Gravekeeper's Cloak left after that AA Blast. Yeah, Visage is going to fall inside the mid lane, up towards top. Illidan rotating in. They blink clap from Iphonia, looking for the split, but he can't get it off. He isn't silenced. He will be able to split eventually. Now DK Phobos in a bit of trouble, but the Night Stalker can do nothing since he is cycloned up. Matt gets a double kill in the backlines, however, as he kills off the bench and Necrophos. The Brewmaster split's doing nothing. They Grave Chill up Illidan, but that's not enough. The secondary Cyclone's useful, but not useful enough. Goddamn, going to be frozen down to the ground. Blink forward to Loser Orb from the Puck. Not going to jaunt to that. It's a triple kill for Mag as he just cleans house.
So as powerful as Brewmaster split is, that was really the only thing that Hellraisers were actually working with in that fight. To start things off, Puck just came in and got a 2-man silence with a 2-man orb, and just like that, Necrophos was down, and suddenly the Brewmaster was all alone, and it doesn't last for that long, level 1 split, so especially when you're trying to go against a team with Voodoo Restoration and there's a Night Stalker with a Vanguard around, you're not going to be able to kill off anyone in a hurry, so Brewmaster with not enough damage, and overall Hellraisers just with not enough survivability to counter the likes of Virtus.Pro Polar, and they also still have a coil. Virtus.Pro Polar, they still have a nighttime to work with. They could go for more with this Liquid Fire, and Hellraisers, they should not want to defend this. They should not want to get close to this lane. If they do, this might happen. Illidan is just going to charge forward for Dread. Here comes the Ice Blast. Will it hit in time? Yes, it will. Dread is dead.
Nothing you can do. That's at your tier 3 tower. Like, you're a hero right here, and Night Stalker's just able to run at you, void to you, and then you die. I mean, his reaction was proper. TPing out should save you there after the void comes out, but there's just not an opening. Right now, chasing after the Visage. If they spot him, and they do, Goddamn is so screwed. He's gonna get void, silenced up. They don't even drop the Illusory Orb. It's not even necessary. They'll just right-click him down.
This game is turning into less of a game and more of a Night Stalker feeding frenzy. That's not to say that it is only the Night Stalker doing all the work. I don't want anyone to think that that's the case, because the rest of his team is also firing off on all cylinders. But it's a Night Stalker, man. It's pretty much exactly how this hero is supposed to function. 13-2, and Illidan Stormmage is going to be going for an Aghanim Scepter. There's a Yule Scepter already up on the Jakiro. Mech is in the works for the AA. I don't even know what Puck wants to do with this Void Stone, but it's probably Yule Scepter, but you could go for a Sheep Stick and be fine in this game as well. So for Virtus.Pro Polar, they took down a whole bunch of objectives in that last nighttime phase. I don't even know how many kills, 3 towers, and they're not going to stop either, because Illidan has found himself a pretty darn good rune, and Artis has a TP scroll, but I don't know if he's going to know that he has to use it, because Illidan is coming in, slowly but surely, and a Daytime Night Stalker, level 8, can probably kill off this Jar Ranger. Oh, there we go. Target acquired. Is he going to pull the trigger? Artis might actually just be stuck. Well, there's nighttime, now Artis is like 100% boned.
He saves the Void, so there's no TP attempt. She'll gust back Lil, Ancient Apparition Ice Blast flies over, and it's nothing but her dead corpse. Yeah. Artis, if he was paying a little bit more attention, might have been able to try and run or do something, since the ultimate was deactivated when Night Stalker was there invis, but honestly I don't think it mattered. If he started running, Night Stalker just runs after you. Night Stalker already well towards his Aghanim Scepter, and if it wasn't scary enough, if you just take a look at the Radiant Vision, this is insane. This is what makes Night Stalker so scary. This ward actually just stops giving vision right here.
Well, top lane, Illidan is going to bite off a little bit more than he could chew, but he does a backup in the form of Mag. Gort's going to take a lot of damage, will get sticked up, and will be surviving for now, but an Ice Blast comes in. That's lethal. Mag is going to try to hide. He will be surrounded by Brewling till we brought down. Scythe, Scythe did kill him off. Yes, Scythe did kill him off. Okay, Ancient Apparition got the kill onto Blue, and that's just going to be a 1-for-1 trade, but it's probably worthwhile for Hellraisers to make those trades, especially if you get the Scythe kills. They're going to need like 4 or 5 more of those if they're actually going to want to come back into this game, because in the meantime, Jakiro's pushing down bottom, and as fast as they can push with the extra damage from the Drow Ranger and the Visage, I don't think it's going to be fast enough, because Illidan is just constantly swinging in the area, and he is going to want to jump in. Ice Blast, though, is going to miss to start things off. Yule Scepter a little bit too far away. So Hellraisers, their push is pretty much stopped cold, but bottom lane, it's down below half, and actually Virtus.Pro Polar, they're not going to stop. Dread's going to turn out for Magic Missile on the FNG, doing a lot of damage. After going to try to jump forward for FNG, a lot of damage, but there is a mech and a Night Stalker here. It's daytime, but he does not care. The Brewmaster is going to take quite a bit of damage, looking for a blink out, gets swapped out by Dread. That might be his survival, although Goddamn is also in a pretty precarious situation. It's just Illidan running forward right now, and because it is not nighttime, he does not have sufficient backup. Everyone from Hellraisers will be able to live, but this is a daytime Night Stalker we're talking about. You're not supposed to be scared of him at this point.
No, you're really not. 1,000 gold till Night Stalker has that Aghanim Scepter completed. And Virtus.Pro Polar, as long as they don't pull off of the gas and let Goretz farm with his Midas, let your Ranger catch up into this game as well, they should be completely fine. They'll go for Roshan now, and it's something that they definitely can do. Hellraisers, their chances of blowing a Roshan pit fight, there just isn't anything. They can't crash this party. It's going to be taken. That's presumably a double life for the Night Stalker.
Do you even give it to Illidan? Like, he's so damn tanky. You might get more benefit by giving it to Mag so that he could, you know, blink in a little bit more aggressively, or give it to DK Phobos. I think either way would be good. Yeah, and it is going to be the Jakiro to grab the double life. So now we have an Aegis on Jakiro. Illidan still is nigh unkillable, and as he said, 1,000 gold, now 700 gold away from his Aghanim Scepter. So the vision is going to be pretty much all over the place from Virtus.Pro Polar. Honestly, it already is. They have a really deep Observer Ward near the top lane. Their ward coverage on the bottom lane, not the deepest, but certainly sufficient. So wherever Hellraisers go, Virtus.Pro Polar will know about it. And when there's Night Stalker and an Ancient Apparition on the team, man, there's nowhere safe for you to go. And we might be seeing that right now as Mag might be going towards the top lane. I don't see an Ice Blast being thrown out just yet, so maybe not. Oh, there it is.
Ooh. Let's see. They're not actually going to go blink, clap onto the puck. They'll get the crit off, but just not enough damage. Ice Blast lands mid, and that's going to be about it. Mag's silence, but still is able to blink out. So for now, that's all that she wrote. Tier 2 tower down in bottom lane is going to be forfeit to the Liquid Fire, as well as just a handful of creeps.
But all the while, Mag was just being a nuisance. He was just a distraction, a decoy, because the bottom lane was where the real action was happening. Liquid Fire going to be bringing down that tower. They're going to go for a little bit more. because they can, and they are going to put themselves in a very precarious situation here on this bottom lane. But as long as Hellraisers are not teleporting back, this is a free push right now. Ancient Apparition throwing his ult up towards the top lane. It is going to be Mag to get jumped right now, but goddamn cannot land any damage on the puck to cancel his Blink Dagger. Top lane tower might die, but at this rate, it's going to be a tier 1 for a tier 3, and you should take that trade never if you're Hellraisers. They're going to fortify their tier 3, but I think with Liquid Fire they might still get it, although Illidan Nighttime, he's hasted up as well. They're going to silence up the Brewmaster. Yule Scepter will purge that off. I was going to land into an Ice Path though, gets swapped out by Dread. Looks like Brewmaster's going to survive, but the Visage and the Avenge will not be as lucky, as Puck actually kills the Visage off solo up on the top lane. Now they're onto the Raxes. They're going to have to make a miraculous use of the split right now and keep the Drow Ranger alive all the while. That is a very tall order. They're splitting their damage between ranged and melee, so Virtus.Pro Polar might not get much out of this, but hell, they're not really spending that much either.
Split coming out from the Brewmaster. They want to fight, they want to fight now. They Atos up Illidan. He's dropping pretty darn low. He's not the one with the Aegis. Now side down. Illidan's going to lose his life. That's a huge kill for the Necrovos, and now they pursue for a little bit more. They peeled away the important hero. Now looking for FNG. The Frost Arrow is going to miss, but the Boulder not so lucky for the Ancient Apparition. Is going to bring him down. Now down to the ground with the Jakiro. He's going to be able to blink out safely, at least for now, but they should be able to pursue him, especially with the Atos coming up from that Necrovos. Visage Familiar is flying through. My goodness, the damage from Hellraisers. It's hard, or it's easy to forget that when you're comparing it to a Night Stalker. Double drop, and now DK Phobos obliterated. 3-0 for Hellraisers, and this is the power of Hellraisers' team fight that you do have to respect if you're VP.P.
Night Stalker dropping as the first hero, probably the worst case scenario for Virtus.Pro Polar. He also got killed by the Scythe, I believe, so yes, he was. It was an unstoppable streak, actually, going towards the Necrophos, who has been working with the Hand of Midas for a very long time, now getting an additional large chunk of gold from killing off the hero, and he got the Scythe kill, so there is extra respawn timer on the Night Stalker. They're going to try to crack back the bottom lane into this tier 1 mid bottom lane tower, and it looks like with their damage output that should be a possibility, although here comes an Ice Blast. It will hit onto 0 heroes, and Ancient Apparition not in too much trouble looking for a deny, but good luck denying against this much damage. It's not going to happen. However, Night Stalker and Mag, they're both going to rejoin the fight. Familiars going to be flying interference as the Puck throws an orb, looking for a coil. He's going to find Goddamn, who's for some reason not moving. That's never what you want to be doing. Mag gonna get silenced, however, gonna throw himself up into the air, has DK Phobos to come in as backup. Coil onto 2 now. Where's the Night Stalker? Here he comes, going towards the Brewmaster. He is sitting in the Macro Fire. He's gonna go down. Dread is going to teleport out to safety. There's a Scythe kill on the Puck in the meantime. Goddamn will also teleport out. Artees, though, may not be as lucky. Goretz is going to make it out alive. Artees is now going to hit with an Ice Path, and he will be the casualty of war. Not the cleanest turnaround fight for Virtus.Pro Polar, but they do get a 1 fight after all is said and done. And are they really going to try to go on this bottom lane again? They have to worry about taking Raxes. Not really sure if they want to do that without the Puck, though.
Yeah, I think it's probably safer just to fall back. Maybe go for the tier 2 tower in mid. That's something that they can do without the Puck pretty feasibly. I don't know. Then again, the lane equilibrium just isn't their favorite there. I think it is a pretty risky move to go for it. It might work out, it might not. We'll just have to see. The Scythe is cooling down for 40 seconds, so maybe they'll be able to hit that window.
There is a split here, though. DK Phobos is going to do what he can with Liquid Fire, but backdoor protection is going to mean that he's doing more or less nothing. Here comes a creep, so backdoor protection now turned off. It's going to be a slow chipping war for Virtus.Pro Polar. This is a 4v5 situation, however. Dread is going to get the swap back onto Illidan. Scythe is there, and he's going to get stunned up by a whole bunch of things, and now he's going to drop. Illidan, not as invulnerable as he really thought, especially with that initiation. Now FNG thrown up into the air will be brought down in quite the hurry. In the meantime, Lil is going to try to fight up against Artees, and goddamn, that's not going to work either. DK Phobos still alive with the Macro Pyre giving him some protection, but FNG cannot get any kills going. He will get one, actually, killing off the Vengeful Spirit, but Jakiro, in the meantime, going to teleport, or blink to the south, try to teleport, will make it out. Another 3 kill for Hellraisers, and they're going to hold their bottom lane yet again, and they're going to hold all their structures. Again, 4v5 situation, I don't really know if the Puck there really would have helped, but Night Stalker, he's very tanky, but he is not invulnerable to this damage of Hellraisers.
Yeah, it's really easy to get caught in the mindset that, oh my goodness, I'm a Night Stalker, I'm getting absolutely fed, but right now that's just not enough. The Vanguard, although it was a really great item 10 minutes ago, is starting to fall off, especially when you look at the damage everybody's getting from the Dual Ranger. That extra 52 pretty much entirely negates that Vanguard, and then some on top of it. Goretz is now completely stacked, has that BKB on top of his Midas Atos, and has overtaken the Night Stalker as far as net worth is concerned, pretty quietly too. It's looking really good for Hellraisers now. Virtus.Pro Polar are losing grasp of this game. Now only a 4,000 advantage in the team net worth, and experience is completely zeroed out.
It is very possible for VP Polar to just hit a very good team fight and then break down the Raxes thereafter. Ancient Apparition has a level 2 ultimate. Lil is working towards his Aghanim Scepter as well, so Witch Doctor is going to have quite a dangerous ultimate, and the rest of Virtus.Pro Polar, they just have to make sure that their skills land on multiple heroes. If that happens, Hellraisers can very swiftly lose either more towers or the entire set of bottom lane Raxing. So it's certainly not looking terrible for Virtus.Pro Polar. Hellraisers, they're not quite in the clear just yet, but they're putting up much more of a fight than I really thought they would. Puck, in the meantime, is going to get jumped up towards the top lane. He will be able to make it out alive because he's Puck, and that's what Pucks do. Once again, being a nuisance to the Hellraiser side. So gank failed there, but right now for Virtus.Pro Polar, I think they might want to sit back and wait. Maybe for... he's not even going for a BKB. Illidan is going for armor, which is nice for sure. BKB doesn't help you against all this physical damage, but still, I don't really think he's going to be able to do what he really wants to do with this item.
Yeah, right now Illidan's damage himself is really starting to fall off. He's scary and all, and he offers some nice utility to the team with the Aghanim Scepter and the Darkness. It is very scary to play up against, but 106 physical damage, even though he's hitting really fast with the Hunter in the Night, it's not enough, especially if he gets isolated. And the last couple of fights, he's either been up in the air inside the Yule Scepter or swapped back into a Magic Missile completely away from the enemy team. Tier 2 tower up towards top is going to be more or less completely forfeit. They look for a little bit of split push coming out from DK Phobos down in bottom. Will put some permanent bit damage onto the range barracks and might actually take it. But, looks like that's going to be it. The range barracks might fall, but potentially at the cost of DK Phobos' life. He's going to get Atos. They continuously pursue him with Goretz, but they don't have enough backup there or vision to really go for that. And Tier 2 tower in mid is going to fall to the Puck. All said and done, it's favorable for VP Polar.
They managed to take all these objectives without getting into any real fight. Mag gonna get jumped in the mid lane, has a Yule Scepter and a Blink out, so the chance of him dying kind of slim, although taking a lot more damage than I really thought. He'll drop into a whole bunch, orb, and then make it off to the right side of the trees. He has another Blink, and Mag once again is going to survive, it looks like, unless something weird happens. No, there's no Necrophos in the area, no Blink Dagger on him, so no Heartstopper or a kill. Mag is barely going to get out of there, but he will bring down the Tier 2 tower in the end, though it is denied by the Brewmaster. Virtus.Pro Polar get quite a few objectives without actually having to fight for them, so that's always a nice thing to have dropped in your lap. And also Roshan is back up. However, this time at this point, Hellraisers, they have a much better chance at contesting it.
For sure. Goretz is really scary for VP.P to deal with. Honestly, I don't think they have the damage if the BKB's up for the Necrophos. He can probably just walk into the pit and look for his Scythe off onto a single target. And I kind of touched on it on the draft, but killing off a single target when they have that Reaper Scythe is incredibly easy. And honestly, if they take out the Night Stalker, Virtus.Pro Polar lose quite a bit of what makes their team so scary, or even the Puck. I think just any one of these teamfight monsters.
Well, right now, the Witch Doctor has picked up his Aghanim Scepter. It looks like neither team is actually aware of the fact that Roshan is alive, though if Night Stalker goes over there, he will be able to get 100% vision of it, and he should be making his way over there right now because Hellraisers, with the damage that they have, can tear through Roshan as they're doing right away. Ice Blast is going to fly through, hit onto absolutely everyone. A pretty good start for Virtus.Pro Polar, but by the time they get there, Roshan is going to be dropped. It's going to be Venge to get thrown up into the air. Coil's going to land onto 3 with Illidan on the front lines. However, he's going to get gusted back, taking a lot of damage as well, but the Death Ward from the high ground is going to instantly kill off one. That's the Aegis. Illidan also dropping very low to the Brewmaster split. One more punch is going to kill off the Night Stalker, and they will bring him down. DK Phobos now all alone will get the kill on the Venge, but will decrease his own damage because of it. He will be brought down as well. Death Ward, though good, not good enough. FNG now is going to get jumped. Puck will kill off the Necrophos in the meantime, but FNG is completely surrounded by familiars and everything else. He's going to land an Ice Blast onto Arties. Not quite going to be lethal, although Mag still in hot pursuit. Afo is going to try to pull him off, but now with a gust back onto Puck, he's completely screwed. Mag got way in over his head. That's going to be a 3 for 4, or I guess 4 for 4 if you count the Aegis. Virtus.Pro Polar, they lose yet another fight. They're just giving Hellraisers more and more time to get back into this game.
That experience swing, however, in the favor of Hellraisers is absolutely huge, especially considering the heroes that benefited from it. That's 3,000 experience from that fight for both the Dro and the Brewmaster, which is going to give Dro her level 16, and Brewmaster is very close to it. That's huge leaps in power for Hellraisers. In the next fight, I don't expect it to go as smoothly as it did for Virtus.Pro Polar, even though it's, by raw numbers, favorable for Hellraisers. That Reaper Scythe really didn't do much, and if that killed off the Night Stalker, could have been absolutely disastrous. So VP.P, it's starting to look incredibly scary for them. The late game power of a Necrophos is never something you can underestimate.
And the late game power of Virtus.Pro Polar is just really low in general, so at this point they would really love to have a Rax down by now. One range is a start, but it's not a good enough start, so they're going to need to get some serious structural damage or take a massive team fight, ideally both for them, because they had at one point a 12k gold lead. It's very quickly drying up, and I don't really know what they could do except for hope that Witch Doctor's ultimate is a little bit better. Hope that it bounces to everyone and they all just sit in there because they're caught in the ice path or something like that. But aside from that and an Ancient Apparition ultimate, there's not really many things that Virtus.Pro Polar can do better. For Hellraisers, they just have to make sure that Arties is in the back. And as long as that happens, he's A-okay. And even if he's not in the back, he pops a BKB and Night Stalker can't do anything to the Drow Ranger.
Yeah, he'll just get gusted back, they'll focus him down with familiars, they'll scythe him up, and yeah, I think it's kind of Hellraiser's turn to put some serious map pressure on the enemy side. 2/2/2 towers still stand, and they should be pretty easy pickings for Hellraisers. The Sanj sound, although I like that we have one now, is quite loud. I don't think the audio levels for that are completely balanced.
Well, hopefully she never maims, so that will not be an issue, but either way, Virtus.Pro Polar, they're going to force everyone from Hellraisers back into their base. I don't really think they could do anything off of this. They're trying to keep their own structures intact. There's BKB now on the Jakiro, but that's not really an item that is going to be swinging any fights anytime soon. The only item that I think can swing this game back into Virtus.Pro Polar's favor is FNG with an Aghanims. He has one part of it, but that's nowhere near good enough. Is it two? No, yeah, it is two. So he has two parts of the Aghanim Scepter. He needs a little bit more farm space and then some really nice Ice Blast. That can bring you right back into a game.
It can, especially when dealing with the Necrophos. So, yeah, I think he is kind of the missing piece in the puzzle for Virtus.Pro Polar. Last couple of fights, the Ice Blasts really haven't been super great. The one side the Roshan pit was pretty nice, but all that really accomplished was killing off the Drow Ranger's Aegis, and that was also with the Witch Doctor Death Ward, which was pretty good, but not good enough. Right now, we're kind of falling into a little bit of a passive state inside this game, and honestly, I think that's completely fine for Hellraisers. They almost have the excuse me, side device on the Necrophos, and Drow Ranger going to be working towards her next major item, kind of feeling Butterfly.
Yeah, anything that is very expensive for the Drow Ranger would be really nice. Butterfly does give you that mix of survivability and damage, and up against Night Stalker, who's not ever going to be getting an MKB, hell, up against Virtus.Pro Polar, who are never going to get MKBs in general, it's going to be a fantastic item if she actually does pick it up in a reasonable time frame. And given her farm, that reasonable time frame is looking more and more possible. For Virtus.Pro Polar, they are getting quite a bit of farm as well. They have a Sheep Stick now on Mag, and that's another item that can instantly swing a fight or a game back into your favor. But for every item that Virtus.Pro Polar gets, Hellraisers, they one-up them.
Yeah, there's your Aghanim Scepter completed on Goddamn and the Scythe on the Necrophos. That Aghanim Scepter on the Visage is incredibly scary. Right now, VP.P, the supports are probably just going to be killed instantly by these familiars. If the Drow Ranger damage is activated, and even without it, it's still pretty absurd. This is their best way to cancel that Witch Doctor Death Ward, and honestly, they could probably reserve one familiar entirely, just stopping that channeling.
And even if they don't, they could just A-move those familiars onto the Witch Doctor, and then with plus 64 damage, with the aura turned on, then, man, Witch Doctor's not really going to last that long, even though he is decently tanky as far as supports go. He needs to have like 3,000 HP if he wants to survive that. And DK Phobos is also going to get jumped. Has a BKB and Yule Scepter, though Scythe is going to kill him off in the end. That's 90 seconds where the Jakiro is down. Not like it's the most important piece of the puzzle for Virtus.Pro Polar, but they can't really afford to defend. Their best bet right now is just split push the lanes and try to force Hellraisers back, but that's also going to be way too slow.
Yeah, you're split pushing against a Drow Ranger and a Visage, which can force out those lanes incredibly fast. Virtus.Pro Polar just don't have the heroes in their arsenal to really do it. Jakiro is nice for taking down those early towers, but now has more or less completely fallen off. He's there for Ice Path. Liquid Fire is a little bit annoying and decent up against the towers still, but nothing that Hellraisers can't handle. It's pretty much all about the Ancient Apparition and the Witch Doctor, it feels. They're the major source of damage and the ability for them to win the team fights. The Night Stalker also isn't really accomplishing much.
Oh, the bottom lane gets obliterated by the damage of Hellraisers. They only have one creep here, so Wait, no, they have a whole creep wave. Never mind, they have a giant creep wave coming in, and Virtus Pro Polar still 30 seconds away from having their full strength. Have fortification, but if the Brewmaster sees an opportunity, blink, clap, split is a pretty darn good way at starting off a fight, and even if that doesn't happen, Tier 3 Tower is going to get destroyed in a hurry, and they could very easily go for the melee Raxes, as they will do. Arties is untouched right now. They're going to jump in for one, however, it won't be good enough. There's a Death Ward. That might be good enough. It's going to kill off one. Now it's going to start bouncing back to Goretz and Arties and Goddamn in the back end. Brewmaster all alone in the front lines. The melee Raxes will go down to the Familiars in the end. Lil is going to blink out of there, and it looks like everyone else is going to survive for Hellraisers, but here comes Illidan charging forward, gets thrown up into the air yet again. Orb is going to fly. Goddamn, in a precarious situation right now. He's going to try to turn around for FNG. Look at the Familiar damage, just tearing the Ancient Apparition a new one. He's going to be going down probably to the Familiars, although it will be at the trade of the Visage's own life. FNG is going to survive, actually, from the Familiars. They run out of damage charges. That's going to be a 2 for 0. Yeah, 2 for 0 for Virtus Pro Polar. If they do lose melee Raxes, maybe they're going to get some Familiars off of this one, but they're pretty darn fast. They might get one. They might get two. That's still not good enough.
Yeah, I really don't think it is. Right now, that constant tower pressure is going to be really annoying for them. Yeah, I think VP.P are going to be happy with what they got. All they lose is 2 supports, and that was pretty much the entire team fight of Virtus Pro Polar. In fact, that looked like it could have gone disastrous for Hellraisers, but for the most part, the Necrophos and the True Ranger were left alone, and that split from Mephonia was really on point. The Night Stalker really couldn't accomplish anything and desperately needs BKB inside the fights, and even then we've already seen that it really isn't that enough. It's a Scotty on True Ranger. I don't think I've ever seen it, but technically the slow does stack with her Frost Arrows if you're alternating between them. It does give you a lot of health as well as agility. I quite like it. I think Butterfly is probably a little bit better, but honestly you can go for whatever you want.
It's the more defensive item. The main reason you get it is just because it gives you a ton of stats and health and everything like that. She's suddenly up to 2400 HP, and Drow Ranger looking pretty durable at this stage in the game. It's same amount of HP, for some context, as the Night Stalker, and that just is so many layers of wrong that Drow Ranger is that tanky. But either way, they're going to make a jump in onto the Brewmaster over in mid. There is Dread waiting for a swap back or something. They're not going to pull the trigger. Everyone from Hellraisers back up alive. They have their split up again. The only thing they're missing is a resummon on Familiars, and I don't actually know where those Familiars went. Oh, they're all in the bottom lane, so those Familiars are going to be A-okay. In the meantime, Virtus Pro Polar, their crackback pretty much did nothing, and it might actually get Illidan killed off right now, because he's going to be running into a whole mess of heroes. He has no TP scroll either. RT's one Frost Arrow. Illidan is going to pop BKB, and it looks like he might be fine. There's a little bit of slow, but they need a lot more than that. Illidan's going to now pop Darkness, has the vision to work with up against the enemy side, is going to duck into the trees, and it looks like he's going to lead them on a wild goose chase for now, but there is the slow and a stun. Illidan, now completely surrounded, is going to be brought down before he can do anything. Puck is going to land a coil onto the Brewmaster, occupy the time of Hellraisers a little bit, but Mag, even though he may escape right now, it's a small victory. If anything, I don't even know if he will escape. He will blink out of there in the end. Mid lane was being pushed by the Jakiro in the meantime. It's not exactly the trade that Virtus Pro Polar want to make, tier 3 tower damage for a Night Stalker, but at this point I don't really think they have a choice. Beggars can't be choosers.
No, they really can't, and I don't know, I'm not sure how many more times they can take those trades, because if they do, and it's closer to the enemy base, they might just lose another set of racks, and at the very least tier 2 tower. Roshan going to be respawning momentarily. Aphonia should be the one to spot this out, unless he blinks out of the pit. Looks like he's still chilling around there. Loose Orb's going to fly through, and both teams have actually managed to avoid spotting out the Roshan respawn. It's going to be there in 2 seconds or so.
Well, if Hellraisers are playing as they are with the damage that they have, what is it up to now? Plus 70 on everyone? That's insane. They're going to be able to tear through Roshan, even though Virtus Pro Polar may see it. With the Night Stalker vision, I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything about it, because Night Stalker is going to have to charge forward and make something happen, but he really doesn't have the equipment to deal with that type of situation, and so it is going to be Roshan spotted out right now. Roshan is going to be dropped, and this time will give cheese. And Hellraisers, they're making a beeline for it. VP Polar, they're in a position to defend. Let's see how good the Death Ward and Ice Blast are, because Aghanim Scepter, it is up on both of those heroes. If they land on 4 or 5 heroes, VP Polar can turn a one fight into Raxing really quickly.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they need the perfect fight, but Roshan is the place to have that. Right now, both teams are posturing around the Roche pit. Neither one has actually committed to an engagement or anything of the sort. Daytime has fallen, but then again, you have Darkness from Illidan. They're going to walk around the Roshan pit, blink forward, fund Eul's onto the Visage, or Venge, excuse me. Dread's going to be dropped down, although the Gust lands on it too. They can't really follow that up. BKB on Illidan. He's going to be slowed by the Scotty, but not much more. Popping the BKB, sizing up Artist. Artist dropping low, but now with the BKB going to turn into the puck. Max going to be boulder tossed up, and Illidan's just dropping too darn low. That's a scythe kill. Gord's going to secure that one, and now it's all hands on deck looking for more. There's a coil, but mostly defensive. Goddamn dropping low, but not low enough. They just don't have anything to finish him. DK Phobos looking forward. He is going to secure that one, but now TK Phobos in a bit of trouble. The Brewmaster going to be back in his normal form. Yule stuff. In the meantime, the Ancient Apparition of the Witch Doctor going to be killed off by the Necros. Buyback from the Visage, looking for more. Now the Puck trying to jaunt to his Orb. He should be able to make it out here with just the raw amount of mobility he has, but Hellraisers come away with a huge teamfight victory. Now Roshan regeneration rune for Artist. Can they get any luckier?
Man, I don't even think it's really necessary for that regen rune. Gortz would have brought him back up to full in no time. But either way, Arties will be at full HP. Probably will grab an Aegis or Cheese at this point. Probably Cheese because Goretz. Aegis on Arties, Cheese on Nephonia. Okay, Brewmaster is going to have pretty much a double life. And Virtus Pro Polar, they get initiation that time. They kill off the Vengeful Spirit immediately, so there's no defensive swaps. But once they run into the Drow Ranger, it's just a brick wall. They have no damage in order to kill off the Drow Ranger once she pops that BKB. And then they just crumble. Like, even though she may not have her marksmanship bonus, this is still a hero with 18k net worth that we're talking about. She's doing quite a bit of damage, and when she's taking none, she has no reason to kite around. They're going to charge forward, Hellraisers, go for the mid lane tier 3, and VP Polar with 15 seconds till they're at full strength cannot do anything. They even fortify a little bit late. They'll hold their Raxes for now, but Hellraisers, even if they do get into a team fight right now with Aegis Cheese, I don't see them losing it.
Yeah, melee barracks in mid going to fall very quickly. That's Visage Familiars without the Drow Ranger bonus. They'll jump in, they get a Dream Coil onto 2, but now the Puck in a whole heap of trouble, and Artist is looking for tier 4s. He's currently completely isolated. He's going to pop the BKB on impact, but now Mac going to die to the side. That's no buyback on the Puck. 108 seconds on the sidelines. Focus down Illidan. There's a Witch Doctor Death Ward to stop this a little bit. It does decent damage, but not enough. Swap onto the Night Stalker. Illidan dropping low. Artist might lose his Aegis here, and indeed will do so. BKB on Aphonia. He doesn't have a mana in order to pop his ultimate and can't really use a cheese since he has the Ancient Apparition Ice Blast on him, but Illidan's going to lose his life regardless. There's your split coming out from the Brewmaster, and now it's all back into the base. GG called out by Virtus Pro Polar. And after such a dominating early start as well, this is the risk of running this style of lineup. If you, at any one point, lose a team fight, it can all go south, as we've already seen.
That net worth tells it all. 12k when it was 20 minutes into the game. Now it's, well, obviously Hellraisers to take the victory. But because it is Hellraisers to take a victory, they are one game away from outright winning. This is the result that I really didn't want. Hellraisers potentially winning 3-0, because that's just boring. No one likes that. But Virtus Pro Polar, that has got to be so demoralizing for them. It's going to be Hellraisers take the lead, and now 2-0 in the best of 5, one game away from claiming it. We'll see if they could do it in game number 3. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis V, guys. We'll be right back for game 3 between Hellraisers and Virtus Pro Polar.